Well, we're now 6 months into the graduate journey for many of these first year graduates. It's been an exciting time the first few months. And they've probably undertaken 2 to 3 days of development already. But what other things have they experienced in the workplace, Dave?
I think there's an organic journey that these graduates go on, assuming that they all start in January, February, which is for the majority the case, where they come in so excited, John, and are prepared to take on everything that's given to them. And I find it that probably by about May, they start burning out a little bit in that they're just taking on everything, saying yes, yes, yes. And it's probably important with the role that you play to start talking to them about managing their managers and prioritising, because they get a little bit burnt out. They've done this full 3-month stint of getting up, putting on their clothes, going to work, being professional. So we see a little bit of an exhaustion in them, and it's a good opportunity mid-year for you to check in with them.
Absolutely. So we're seeing a lot of that, take 5 and actually step back from their day-to-day, jump up in the helicopter as we like to describe it, and get a good overview of how they've been going. I'll step away from those projects and their teams and actually reflect. But that is one important thing. But we're seeing a lot of other modules come up, as you said, starting to deal with conflict maybe in the workplace, asking and receiving feedback's another really popular module around this time. Time management, obviously communication in the workplace. They are still new. They are dealing with a lot of relationships and having to manage those relationships. So how can they better do that through their communication styles and understanding others? So it has been a really great time for them just to stand back, because they are learning a lot. They have learnt obviously in their face-to-face workshops that you are running, any online also learnings, but they're learning from each other in the workplace.
Just checking in at this point of time for those graduates that might need a conversation, a bit of coaching, even the managers. Who's checking in with the managers throughout this process? And we go back to the data that we always like to use, the behavioural data, giving their grads their behavioural data, and once again asking them to assess what are their strength areas, how have they leveraged those, and what are their development needs. And if we can have the conversation with the graduate and the graduate manager and the development program managers, we can continue honing in on the needs of the graduates moving into the second half of the year. What's the standard go-to in the second half of the year? Everyone's already talking leadership, John. Yeah. Are they really ready for it? Yeah, there are elements to leadership, but they're still in that about themselves phase.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's a really interesting point you brought up about the individual development and them understanding their strengths and their possible areas of improvement and those things. A lot of organisations are creating these individual development plan journals that graduates can start to take control of their own development. They can reflect, say, I really need to work on this particular area. And they use their initiative to actually drive their own development a little bit. Managers also have access to this, and they can provide feedback and help them achieve their goals that they want to achieve in the workplace.
And it's the time of the year now where a lot of grads are potentially discussing or going through their first rotation. I still say best practice is to have a rotation as a minimum, kind of 6 month, preferably 6 to 9 month mark. I don't think anything shorter than 6 months is long enough in a role for the graduates to experience the role, the technical side of it, and to give back to the business.
Exactly. Yeah.
So they're going through the emotion of a rotation and potentially a new manager coming off one role, going into another role. So how do we work around that in terms of their own professional development, whether it's internal, the technical skills that they get, the exposure to their own managers, mentors, or from a soft skill perspective, which we focus on.
Yeah, so they will experience another 2 to 3 days of face-to-face workshops for the remainder of the year. That'll take it to about 5 for the year. Yeah. So please, if you want to reach out, we're more than welcome to have a chat and talk development with you.
And I'm going to interrupt you before we close off. What are some of the trends you're seeing, Jum, in terms of the second half of the year, topics heading towards September to November that will come up this year?
Well, they'll continue to explore about themselves and that self-awareness piece, awareness of others. Again, starting to maybe look at innovation projects that I'm sure we'll explore again. Yeah. But those things that continue to link each day together, because there's no point in just going there and throwing something out of the blue at them. Yeah. Let's link these together so there is an actual map.
And that's the shift in terms of the leadership journey, heading into second year, or the second component into what leadership is, with real projects, innovation challenges.